Hello everyone, it's Kay here, and I'm here again sponsored by the very wonderful Handy Hippo Crafts. That's Handy Hippo Crafts, www.co.uk, our English crafting company that stocks all the top designers and top sellers in the craft world. I have today got some lovely projects to share with you, and it's not the usual thing, I have to say, but it is something that Handy Hippo have got in stock now at a remarkable price. They really are extra good value, and it's from the Craft Creations Limited company. Now I don't know if you can see this through the shine. I'll pop it down. It's Craft Creations and sold by Handy Hippo Crafts, and they've come up with two designer sheets of lovely vintage portraits. This is the off-white one, but there's a white one as well, and the images are really lovely. I fell in love with them the minute I saw them, and I asked if I might have them in a DT kit, because I know lots and lots of ladies just love this vintage or shabby chic look. It can be quite pricey to put projects together, and 4 pictures, you might think, well actually I don't need 4 pictures, I would rather just have one, but these 4 do make for some really pretty projects. So having said that, I'll introduce you to other things that I've used as I go along. I have used things from my own personal stash, and it's things that I think that most crafters would have readily available, but when you're looking for something different, it's nice to know which direction to run in and get best value for money. So here we go. What I've made is what I consider to be a really lovely card. I've used little snippets of lace, nothing major at all, some ordinary paper flowers, a Martha Stewart punch. I've got a little bit of bling up here, one of the little word tiles that are readily available from lots and lots of places. I don't know that Handy Hippo keep them yet. If they do, I apologise. And again, I've used a Martha Stewart punch. I've used some Tim Holtz Distress ink, which Handy Hippo stock and have lots and lots of different colours in, probably the full range. And I've used one of these little blending tools, also available with the extra pads and so on from the store. So that is really the basic ingredients to make a rather lovely card. If I bring up the image a little bit more, you'll see she is a proper lady of the time, with her fur and her hat, looking quite solemn there, and you do want to give her a tickle and see if she'll smile, but I doubt it, not this time round. So what I thought I'd do is show you how I put the card together. So I've covered up my well-loved craft board here, so just bear with me. I thought you might like me working on something cleaner that you can see the full effect from. And I'll just pick up the things that I've used this time. I've gone back to the lovely Dancing with Daisies paper stack, because in there, when I was featuring it in my last video, I came across the plain colours, and I thought, well, perhaps they wouldn't be very pretty as a plain background to a card, but that is what I've used in my 6x6 card here, which is the same pack of 50 cards from Handy Hippo. I mean, they're going to go an awfully long way, these cards, as you can see, but I've chosen this buff coloured, it's almost like a sponge effect design on the card, so you've got natural shading in keeping with the age that you're trying to emulate within the design of the card that you're making. So I pulled out 2 sheets from that. You can see I still have lots and lots of papers left in this pack, and I'm finding it to be really quite versatile. I thought it would be, and it is something that I think were you to decide to buy it, you would have a huge amount of projects that you can use it with, and at such a nominal price it really is excellent value. So I picked up another of the 6x6 cards because clearly I'm going to show you what I've done, and I've taken the 6x6 paper from the Dancing with Daisies pack and I've actually cut it down so I've got a lovely little border around my 6x6 card, so you get the scale of it, and the colours are coming up beautifully on the camera, so you can see it's something that isn't going to detract from the picture that you put on the front. I've done my Martha Stewart punch here, and Handy Hippo stock a great many of the Martha Stewart punches. This is a border punch and it's actually quite a favourite of mine. I have to say it's not very good on thick card. It's better on 2 thicknesses of ordinary paper. If you use card, it tends to struggle a little bit, but that said, it is really, really pretty, as you can see. And what you do, if you've never used one of these and you want to line up, if I show you with this one that's cut, you would pop your paper in, line it up against the back border here, and that stops it sliding around. Line up the pattern and press down the handle. When you've done that bit, you would then move it along, match up on either side of the punch so that you know you've got the pattern in the right place, and then punch again, and that will then give you a lovely punched edge like so that you can use in your project. If you misalign them, you are going to have problems. I can't lie to you. It's not something you can rush, which is why I've done that before I've set up to film. So as I said, I'm going to use this on the base of my card. I'm using the Art Glitter Glue today, primarily because it dries very, very quickly. You need very, very little of it, and best of all, it dries clear, so it really is an excellent medium to use when you're gluing things down. I shook this one up a bit too violently, I think. However, I need a good old coverage to make sure that it works. I'm working upside down on this bit so you can see where I am. I'm just going to make sure you do get a bit of slippage with this, which is another excellent thing. So if you haven't got your paper lined up exactly where you want it to be, you do have the possibility to go back in and line it up again. Now I've got my glue gun hot and willing and turned on here, and this is, oh, I've got something on it, I think, sorry, another of the beautiful images that are in the pack. There are 4 of them, and they really are such elegant images. You don't need to do a whole lot of work on the base of your card to get the most out of them. So I'm going to put that down there because I have to decorate this inner edge, the fold edge. If I pull it up like that, I'm going to decorate that fold edge of the card. And what I've got here are some little scraps of lace. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't have any lace, or, you know, anything that would do it. You can use washi tape, you can use lace, you can use anything that pleases you, basically. But because I've got this here, and I just thought, right, I'll get on with it and just use it up, that's what I'm doing. So I've got my hot glue gun on, because that's the other thing, if you're going to use lace, that you need to use, because you need to anchor it down. This isn't going to work for me, is it? you need to anchor it down significantly. You don't want it coming off halfway through someone lifting it out of the card, and you just run a little bit of the glue along that edge. Take your ribbon or lace or whatever it is you've decided to use on your particular card and pop it down, then lift it up and place some more glue again and gently let it fall into place. You don't have to, with something on a straight line, worry too much about getting it absolutely perfect, because with it being something that's already structured to have a straight edge, it will follow along quite nicely like so. Alright, so that's that piece on. What did I do with my other piece? I've got another piece because I quite liked this offset. If you see what I've done here on this edge, I've got this kind of lip, so it's a double layer, and I just thought it made it look a little bit more pretty and feminine, which is what you like to do when you're doing a card of this nature. So I'm just going to lift this up a tad and put down that second run of the lace, and what I'm doing is lifting up and back so that the harsh edges are covered. And I also want to be able to offset this a little bit. It may mean a little bit of trimming at the end, but then you see that there are two layers to the lace. So I've pulled it back, I'm popping it in line with the lace again, right the way down to the bottom. And it really is very, very simple. To anyone using hot glue gun, please be careful. Don't leave them where a little one could get damaged by them, because they do bite, and it's very easy to get called away when you're in the midst of something and leave it where it could cause someone a bit of damage. You know, it's easily done. We're none of us so wonderful that we don't make little mistakes like that, but hopefully it doesn't hurt anyone but ourselves. So that's that edge on, and you see it's very, very pretty, very, very delicate. I'll just come in a bit more so you can see it up close. You can always use a hot brush. No, I don't mean a hot brush. An embossing tool, a heating tool, and just take off all the extra bits of glue if you have rather more than you would like. Now I've turned the image over, as you can see, and what we're dealing with here is an oval, which means we have to be a little bit more careful with the lace. And to anyone that's used straight edge on round shapes in the past, you know that you have to do a little bit of teasing to get them into the shape that you want them in. So I'm starting at the bottom, just having checked which way my image is, and then I'm adding a little bit of glue here, and I'm just doing a little pinch along the way. If I come in that way, because I am right-handed, you do a little pinch along the way, and that just helps everything lie flat, which is better because you don't want the lace drawing the eye any more than it has to. It's meant to be just a pretty edge. It's not meant to be a feature of your card. Oops, a little bit shaky there. And we'll bring that on. You can see I'm very, very quickly, because the glue is hot, just squiggling it about a bit. Oops, get off. Got a little bit of the card there. But you can see it's just lying there and making a really, really pretty edge around the image. Come up there a bit. And you just do it all the way around that oval. it's nice to have a lace that's got, or trim that's got this edge on it, because it does give you something to work with, and it also acts a bit like a measure. So you know, if you keep that edge on the shape, it's all going to look even as it goes on, and then when you turn it over, it looks as though it's been put on very, very carefully and in an equal manner. If you get lumpy bumpy bits, it does tend to detract from where you're going. Now again, I'm rushing with this. It's the usual scenario. You would, I'm sure, take a lot more time with whatever it is you're doing and make sure that it all just sits beautifully. But I do need to rush along because there's such a lot to show you today, and it's all just such lovely products from Handy Hippo. Really, they've had another supply of new items into the store. If you go to the online store and you just click on the home page what's new, you then get the option to check out whether you're interested in mixed media or card work or altered art and that kind of thing. It will take you through directly to whatever it is you're interested in and show you what is new in the store. And it's a great time saver. And if you just like to look in general terms about what's available, you have that facility too. So there is my lace all around this very, very lovely lady. Better go out a bit so you can see what I'm doing. So she will then fit on the front of the card like so. Now I do need a little area here because I do like to use some flowers, and it can be any flowers from your stash. Handy Hippo actually have punches that make flowers, but for today, for convenience and for the sake of the video, I am just going with what I've got in stock. So for this one, I want to raise it up off the card to give it a little bit more of a dimensional feel, and so I'm using these little pop-ups. Handy Hippo keep all of this kind of thing. You can either buy it in circles or squares or whatever you want really, and they are invaluable to this kind of project. It's better than using glue because you do have the possibility of raising it up off the plate at a given depth. You can get very thin pop-ups and you can get the thicker ones. These are the thicker ones because, of course, if you add something to the image, you are invariably going to need it to be higher than usual. Otherwise, it's not going to sit prettily on your card. It's really little things that you pick up as you go along. I've got a couple of little bits here on the lace that are bothering me, because I don't like little finishes and knots and that kind of thing. I know it's only a card, but it will go to someone who will be hopefully delighted to receive it, and they will give it a once over because that's what people do, isn't it? So we'll pop that on there like so. Practically perfect. I've got a little bit of sticky bling here, which I will use. Now, again, go to embellishments on the Handy Hippo site and you will find a wealth of prettiness that will enhance your card. I just happen to like these little bits of bling at the moment. I just think they're quite good, and that's from my own stash, but never mind. You know, it's all there for a reason. And the next thing I want to do is add this little cluster of flowers here. Now, I was told a long time ago when I was struggling to get flowers in the right place to imagine a triangle. And if you work at a triangle, you're always going to have that basic line in the corner of your card or wherever you choose to put your flowers, and it does give it a bit of rhyme and reason, and it does make it a little bit more tidier and as if it's meant to be there, if that makes sense. So I never cut the stalks off my roses, I leave them. I add a nice bit of glue. If you want to do a trial first and put the flowers where you want them, then do by all means. It's entirely up to you, but having made this card already, I have a very clear idea of where I want to put things. If you wanted to take some time out, lay it down on your card like so, add a few bits here and there just to add to it and see how it all looks, then you have the facility to do that before you make it a permanent feature on your card. You may want to trim back some of the tails on the larger things just to keep it all tidy, or indeed wrap these wire bits around a pokey tool or something of that nature, and you will find that they curl and they look quite natural. But for today, and again always, because I've got the camera and the clock running, I am just making and I'm doing this a little bit different from the other one, because I think it's important to, even though essentially it's the same style of card, I just like to add a little bit different, because it is always nice to say, well, no one else has got this card. I'm going back to my distress ink. Just unplug that one before I melt everything, because I've got some white leaves here, and I'm just going to colour them. Pop a little bit of glue on both sides like so, and I'm going to pop that one under there. I have no issues with it hanging out over the side of the card, because I think it makes it a wee bit more natural. But I do like to have a little bit of colour, even though these leaves are designed white, just to add a little bit of interest. I'm going to tuck that one under there like so, but you see I've got my triangle that I was talking about, and it I don't know what it is, but it works every time. I guess it's the balance. Everyone, when they're making cards, talks about keeping things in balance, and that is a good way to do it. It also gives you a bit of extra anchoring. You can push the rose down like that, but how pretty is that? It just sits there. If you're worried about that leaf, you just fold it and squish it up a bit and lift it away from the card, and it really is very pretty. And what I've also got here, if I can find it, oh yeah, out of my stash, is another of the little words, because I do like these. I think they're lovely for just accenting and adding a little something onto your project, and you simply glue it down as I did there, and it just says wish, and that's it done. How simple is that? So we've got two different images here. Essentially I've used exactly the same product. I've used lace, I've used paper, a little bit of bling and some flowers from my stash, and the little word things. So that's two of the images, and then the third one, because you don't strictly have to use these images on card, is to use a canvas, which is what I've done. And again, I've used exactly the same things, apart from using a heavy duty clay and a stencil, which I will show you immediately, all from Handy Hippo, needless to say. There is this Tim Holtz layering stamping stencil, which you can use ink through, or you can use heavy carving modelling paste, which is what I did, then allowed it to dry. Handy Hippo also keep these fabulous little tools. This is Viva Decor, and they are just so good. It's better than using a knife unless you've got an old-fashioned palette knife, but they just allow you to apply, take off the excess and then pop it back into the original packaging, so you do get to save a lot of what you don't need, and it just keeps it lasting that much longer. Just popping back to the card, what I also did on the other one, which I didn't say, was I put a little bit, I'll just show you here, a little bit of this pink onto the white roses, because it is aged and I do want to keep that theme running, but I don't want to lose the white entirely. And then I just went around all the edges of the card like so, not in excess, it's just a gentle little brushing, and it just tones in so you've got no harsh colours to be seen. And then again on the front there, practically perfect in every way. I do like it. I think these images are absolutely gorgeous, and I will now show you the last one because I'm particularly pleased with the way the canvas came out. And here it is. I'll just take you out a bit so that you can see it all. Now that is more of the flowers, some lace, another of the images, and it's a different lady with her hat on, a little bit of pearl to marry up with the pearl that I put around the image. There's the stenciling on this side, which I'm hoping is being picked up for you. I've just gently put the ink around the frame. I've used more lace around the edge here because I do think it's important with something that's going against the wall to have a nice edge on it so it looks finished and complete. And the word there is believe. I've used some little pearly bobbly stuff, which is always very, very pretty, and I just think that's come out really well. As a product promotion, I can't recommend these images highly enough. I think, you know, you could do worse than try them. They're £1.10 a sheet, which I think is excellent value when you can get all these beautiful, beautiful projects out of them. Now I've got one image left. At a later date I will do something else, but I wanted to show you how it all comes together today. So please pop over, check Handy Hippo, check these lovely ladies out. They're too good to miss, and I will see you next time. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Bye bye for now.